Hey everyone, welcome back to Sunday Nights with Faye Seidler. It's me, it's Faye. It's Sunday night. We're gonna get into it. News, local news. The first thing is you haven't seen it yet. The Raise a Trans Flag event is still something that you can watch. I'll be taking it down from my website, at least the main hosting page of it, but you can still access it through my legacy pages. But it's an event that I think can inspire hope in a lot of people and give people the tools to really understand what it is to be trans these days and the diversity of life that we see under the trans umbrella. But that will be one of the last times I promote that for now. For other news this week, we have the Drag Takeover weekend at the Scapegoat Bar, April 17th through 19th, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This is happening in Mandan, so if you want to go to a bar, if you're 21 plus and want to hang out with, I believe, bartenders who are also in drag, I think that's what's going on, but check out the event link and attend, or tell people you know that might enjoy the opportunity. Another opportunities in different side of state in Grand Forks, the Forks Sugar Beaters game is happening April 18th at 4 p.m. So that's going to be the Saturday. Coming up, if you want to check out Derby, it's a really good time. If you want to get involved with Derby, I don't think you can do that for this meet, but you can meet them and see about getting involved when they have open opportunities, which is pretty frequently. And I encourage it because it's a good community space. It's a great way to get physically involved and to make friends. So check them out, cheer them on. I hope they win. I guess I don't know their opposing team, but if I'm just going to be like a local fangirl, I'm going to go with them for now. If I'm not supposed to, let me know. There's also some other things happening in Grand Forks. Two stories that are related to suicide prevention, so I'll kind of go back to back on those. The first is Tears North Dakota is an organization that helps survivors of suicide loss as their primary mission, but generally any mission within suicide prevention is holistic for everyone in any way they suffer, but that is their focus. And they have a conference, Faith-Based Fueling Hope, in Grand Forks on April 19th. That's the faith-based one, but they also have more of a atheist or non-religious, non-thean look at it on the 20th. So for some people, faith is very important, and also the capacity they can use to reflect and heal. For other people, they don't use that and would benefit from other tools. So there's actually two opportunities they're hosting. I recommend both of those for anyone who's been impacted by suicide loss, or just in general, because you never know when that unfortunately might happen for you. In the same vein, the Grand Forks Out of the Darkness Walk is happening April 19th at 12 p.m. Now, this is an opportunity put out by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. It is a walk to basically show solidarity of people who have lost someone to suicide, people who struggle with suicide for any kind of reason. These are often big events and fundraising events for people to kind of come together. And Out of the Darkness Walk is to basically say, let's create as much light as possible so when people are struggling, they know where they can turn to get help. That's the point. A lot of time when someone is experiencing suicidality, the brain attacks itself and it convinces you that you're not worth it or that your friends don't care, and often they do. Maybe they do, and they're just not showing it in a way that you're processing correctly in the moment. So the more resources and people and hope that we put out there, the more likely someone who needs that can access it, and events like this are about encouraging those resources and connection points. So share them out. Different topic, different side of the state. In Fargo, there is going to be a Sex Expo, the NDSU Sex Expo, April 21st at 6 p.m. This has been going on for a very long time, I think at least over a decade, but it's an exhibit of sex positivity in every way that you can think of. I think most North Dakotans tend to be pretty uncomfortable with sex or talking about sex, but the more that we can talk about it, the less that we shame and stigmatize people over sex or their bodies and things like that, as well as teach appropriate healthy sexual practices like boundaries and consent and communication. These are all incredible things that really help people in their mental health and their life. The NDSU Sex Expo offers an opportunity to just learn more about what sex is and everything you can think of around that. So it's a really good environment to learn more. There are two grant opportunities coming up. The first one's a $15,000 grant for North Dakota that is funding community bike solutions. I believe what this means is that if you do something that's related to increasing access to biking programs, so cyclists across your community, this is something where you can get money to help maybe purchase bikes or purchase trainers or to get something started so more people are physically active, more people are being cyclists and biking around their towns or cities. So that sounds like something that you could do in your organization. You can apply for it. The other grant I want to talk about is the Bush Prize. This is one of the biggest grants available to nonprofits in North Dakota that is not from necessarily the federal government or the local government. It's a $250,000 grant prize to basically improve your community. If you have a community solution, if you have an idea that will make your community better in some way, this is what you should apply for. You should, get this, apply for it anyways. Even if you aren't gonna win or earn it or whatever, it is an opportunity for you to think ambitiously about what you would like to bring to the world. So I think grant opportunities like this are really good for getting people to focus. And even if you can't get the prize for it, I think that once you really define your goals and what you want to do, you can make it happen. Maybe not through them, but some other way. And you can apply for both of these, actually both deadlined April 30th. So check it out. Tell people about it if you work a nonprofit or adjacently. This is a really good opportunity to build what your future could be. I'm sharing a story from epidemiologists that I follow, the Friendly Epidemiologist, because they speak to basically a layperson understanding what's going on in the world of public health at a very high level. They have one talking about the real impact of the social media verdict. There was actually recently a lawsuit where Facebook and a few others, I think, lost in terms of not protecting consumers from the harms that happen within social media. This is a really complex story. What's going to happen is also going to be complex, but that's the point of reading more on this. I think we all know that youth in particular are susceptible to a lot of the predatory practices of online engagement and doom scrolling and basically gambling is what people are calling it, like engagement gambling. So we need answers for this. However, how we come about those answers are probably going to be more complicated than we get in just this lawsuit. But if you want to be more familiar with this topic from a public health standpoint, this is a way to look at that. I will say I've been able to see some preliminary research in North Dakota about the impact of cell phone bans. This isn't social media per se, but you use a cell phone to be on social media for the most part, so it is. The research in our state shows that there is a modest but statistically significant reduction in some of the anxiety or school quality of life, like engagement metrics that we're looking at for these youth. And that's across the board. So regardless of what their demographic might have been or whether they are in a urban or more rural setting, from my understanding, they're still looking into it from also my understanding. As someone who's been unhappy with cell phone bans because they haven't instituted more actual help, like they took phones away, but they didn't give us more therapists, right? I'm not happy about that still. It seems like it's having a better impact than I would have imagined. I'm sure that there are still some kids who probably were negatively impacted by it, but there were also kids negatively impacted by access to cell phones. So I think overall it's probably better for public good. With summer coming up, by the way, that's happening. I guess. Remember that snowstorm we had like a week ago? We might have another one. Who knows? April's fun. You can enroll your kids in summer school. One of those opportunities is going to be through Inspired Innovation Labs, which has a summer program for youth. They do a lot of phenomenal work for youth and are highly rated. So I saw their opportunity and wanted to put that out there for you. But that's just to kind of give you a heads up that school's ending and oh yeah, have fun, parents. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun. In other news, the School Coalition for Free Meals has been astoundingly successful with 57,000 signatures. That is a good portion of the voting public of North Dakota by numbers alone. What this means is it's very likely that it is going to pass on the ballot, that our North Dakotans are going to say we should feed kids because, you know what, we should. I think it is a personal responsibility of a state to assure that its youth are fed, and it is a price we have to pay. Other things can be optional, but this is a fantastic point of hope for I think a lot of people that we are finally doing something right. It's not complicated. Feeding kids is just the winning side of history that we can all be on, so get excited, get hyped. You can still follow them, you can still support them, you can still support their effort. It's all really amazing, but check out that story. In terms of good work being done, I want to let you know that there was a State of the State of Nonprofits, which was a collection of dozens, if not hundreds of nonprofits coming together to talk about the state of the world for them. If you are a nonprofit, I recommend getting involved with what they have to say, getting involved with them, being more collaborative you can. And also there's the North Dakota Nonprofit Association that you can also, organization for nonprofits that you can join. So I just want to let you know if you do nonprofit work, reach out, get help, know that you're not alone, and know that the work right now is a struggle for everyone. You're not uniquely failing or doing a bad job. It's just tough. It's tough to get volunteers. It's tough to get funding. It's tough everywhere. So if you're trying to do work to make the world better, just know that you matter. It still matters. It's just a tough environment for it right now. I want to let you know that the governor plans to cut a bunch of money in North Dakota arbitrarily across our state-funded organizations that get $10 million or more, just general cuts. I don't like that direction because some organizations might need more money, some might need less. To be a good governance of it, you would want to balance it appropriately, not just cut off the top and make your numbers work. But that's just me. That's how I might do things. I only share that not to be cheeky, but also to let people know that North Dakota is really tightening its belt, and it's going to be, things are less funded. There's not going to be full-time employees, as far as I know, through the state, and everything that's bad right now is probably going to stay that way or get worse. Two stories I'm going to shove into one is that healthcare costs for aging retirement is astronomical. Nursing homes or private nursing for elders and older folks is doubling in price in like 2 to 3 years. It's not good. And at the same time, this isn't good. You know what else isn't good? The SNAP cuts or the general budget funding, the big beautiful bill, has devastated millions of Americans, putting them closer to poverty and away from food. It's been impacting 2.5 million Americans. So I want you to know that there's a lot of consequences to some of the national policy direction. We're not just blowing hot air. It is impacting real people, making lives harder and making everything we do in the state worse because it trickles down. All the problems trickle down to us, folks just trying to survive and help those who are. So just be, again, aware of this. Elections are coming up. Be aware of it. Know that it's happening. Know that it's a struggle. And pay attention to this stuff during elections. I'll just keep on saying that. Yay. My final story, I just want to talk about an actual human interest piece. So not about scary politics and tax or learning about things. This will be fun. Well, cute. It's a story from John Lamb, one of our reporters. I actually like them a lot because they do a lot of human interest pieces. This one is about a youth food critic and them sitting down with them to ask them their opinion about foods and what they thought about things. And I think that's cool. There has to be something that we're working for in a society. Like, we are struggling right now. The governor of North Dakota is saying that we're struggling. We're struggling, obviously, from the politics of the federal government. That's clear. But why are we struggling? What are we working for? What are we working on? What are we working towards? I think most of us want to work towards a world that's better for the youth in it. And I think that the stories like this with John Lamb sitting down for a food critic that's 10 and talking about different plates that have come to them and what they feel about that, that's what we want more of, right? We want more kids to have opportunities like that. We want to celebrate each other in life. We want to encourage passion in youth to explore their hobbies and dreams. That's what we want to get closer to. And that's what we should keep in our hearts and minds as we think about policy, as we think about budget, as we think about tax, and a person's personal responsibility to society at large. Not just people, but maybe companies and wealthy companies too. We want more stories like that. And I think sometimes we get lost in the sauce and forget what it's all about. It's about people. It's about opportunities, expression, art, hope. This is why we struggle, ideally, is for things. I think we're starting to get used to this idea life should just be a struggle bus. And no, no, it should be good things. It should be good things too. So I want to share that story because I think it highlights the things I like to see out of life and what we should move into and what we should keep in our hearts and minds when we debate things, whether it be politics or ideology or anything like that. But that's what I have for your show tonight. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. If you like it, please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about it, tell your neighbors, find people to tell them about. Sit down in a coffee shop and say, hey, friends, have you heard about Faye Seidler? And they'll be like, heck yeah, that's my favorite news host. And you'll be like, I don't believe that for a second, because you will be honest and accurate. And they will say, yes, you are correct. We were lying. But that will be fun. So do that. Bye.